having fun. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
Like you were true, like our generation, you was an inspiration.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate y'all so much.
I'm setting the bar.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Come from New York.
Yeah.
What's your story? The crew is yours truly. What's your story? The crew is yours truly. Snorted. Do right now, but again.
Man, shout out to Snore that dude, man. We finna look at this Houston drill right quick. You understand me? This time drill shit right quick, man. Cause I be trying to understand this shit.
Texas drill, the death in the South. Originally to this be down in the description. Without further ado, we're going to get into
it. Texas wasn't always drill. It wasn't always blood on the pavement.
Hold on, I could find this already. Fuck that. Houston drill. This is what's going on in Acres home, man.
Texas wasn't always drill. It wasn't always blood on the pavement. Names turned into numbers, or whole cliques built around death dates. Drill was born in Chicago, carried to New York, spread to Atlanta. Texas already had its own wars, long before anyone called it drill, until one page rewrote the script. Dallas drill. It turned the streets into a stage. Every body, every betrayal, every scream was no longer just a secret of the hood. It was out in the open, on screens for the world to see. What was pain became spectacle. And soon, Houston caught the fire. San Antonio followed. The name spread like a curse. And with it came the killings, the blood, the fear. Texas is no longer just a scene. It's a graveyard, a drill scene carved from violence and death. This is Texas drill, death in the South. On the north side of Houston, there's a clique with many faces, many names. Some call them SSC, the Silent Sack Chasers. Others call them K for K, known on the streets as Kill for Kill. Two names, but when tragedy hit, they came together under something even darker. They started calling themselves SOG, Spaz Out Gang. This wasn't just a new title, it was a vow, a pledge, a way to honor the life of the young man they lost, a member they called Spaz. In the streets, names don't fade, they echo. And when Spaz was murdered, his clique made sure his name would never die. They branded it into their identity. They even gave him a number, 23. The date he was taken from them, July 23rd, 2022. It was the early morning of July 23rd, 2022. The streets of Spring, Texas were quiet until violence ripped the silence apart. Around 4:45 a.m., deputies with Harris County Precinct 4 got the call, a shooting in the Breckenridge West subdivision. When officers arrived, what they saw was something straight out of a nightmare. A silver Honda sat abandoned in the middle of Stanley Canyon Drive. Its doors still open, its windows shattered by gunfire. And lying in the roadway was Spaz, just 18 years old, his body unresponsive, his life already gone before help could arrive. Two of his friends stood there frozen in shock. They had watched the whole thing unfold. They had pulled up with Spaz that night, and now they were standing over his body. But the nightmare wasn't over. A second 911 call came in just minutes later. Another victim, shot during the chaos, was stumbling through the neighborhood, knocking on a stranger's door, begging for help. That man survived, but Spaz never got that chance. Investigators pieced the scene together. According to the witnesses, Spaz and his crew had driven into that subdivision for one reason, the dim glow of streetlights. The fight eventually broke apart, but instead of walking away, Jamarian pulled out a pistol. He raised it toward the silver Honda and unleashed a storm of bullets. Glass exploded, metal tore apart. Both Spaz and another passenger were struck. And just like that, an 18-year-old's life was erased in the middle of a neighborhood street. After the gunfire, Jamarian ran, disappearing into the dark, leaving Spaz dead in the road and his friends standing in silence. Not long after the shooting, investigators named their suspect, 18-year-old Jamarian Williams. Witnesses told deputies he was the one who pulled the gun, the one who fired into the Honda that night. He was arrested and charged with murder. 2 years later, on October 3rd, 2024, Jamarian stood in a Harris County courtroom. He didn't fight the case, he pled guilty. The judge sentenced him to 20 years in prison. Silent Sack Chasers isn't just one set moving by themselves. They're clicked up with multiple gangs in Houston. One of those gangs is 200 Gang, out of 4 Acres Homes, a hood better known as the Murda. SSC rapper CEO Gucci claims he's from Garden City, also called the Bricks, just a 4-minute drive from the Murda. But CEO Gucci and SSC don't post up everywhere. They thug in Acres Homes. That's where you'll find them. Silent Sack Chasers isn't just tied in with 200 Gang. They're also clicked up with 8-9. 8-9 carries its name as a tribute. It stands for August 9th, 2021, the day a young man named Keyshawn, known on the streets as KJ, was shot and killed. The 8th month, the 9th day, his death date became their identity. His name became their flag. After he was killed, they started calling themselves Keyshawn Marksman. August 9th, 2021. The middle of the day in Northwest Houston. On Pittner Road, the sun was out, kids were playing, and life looked normal. But by noon, the sound of gunfire turned an apartment complex into a killing ground. 2 young men were in the parking lot that day. 20-year-old Keyshawn Cornett, known as KJ, and his friend Lee Edwards, just 19. According to investigators, a man approached them. Words were exchanged. Voices rose. What started as an argument escalated fast. The man pulled out a gun. The quiet of that afternoon was shattered by shots. Bullets ripped through the air. Both KJ and Lee were hit. In a desperate attempt to save his life, KJ jumped into a car and tried to drive away. But he didn't make it far. The vehicle rolled to a stop inside the complex, with KJ's body in the back seat. He never made it out. His body was left in the car, lifeless, the engine still running. Lee was rushed to Ben Taub Hospital, fighting for his life with multiple gunshot wounds. Hours later, he was gone too. Witnesses described the shooter only as a black male. He fled the scene in a small black SUV. No name, no arrest, no justice. The case remains unsolved. But a year before KJ was killed, 8-9 had already felt the pain of losing one of their own. His name was Charles. On the night of June 20th, 2020, shots rang out in Acres Homes. Police said a black sedan pulled up near Wheatley Street and Glen Avenue. They claimed someone inside opened fire on a group standing outside. Charles was hit in the chest. He was rushed to the hospital, and at first, officials said he was expected to survive, but he didn't. And for the people who knew him, the story the news told wasn't the truth. They didn't believe it was a drive-by. They said it was personal. According to those close to Charles, it wasn't strangers in a car who pulled the trigger. It was someone he trusted, a friend who, they said, was jealous, a friend who pulled the trigger and then called it an accident. Whether it was jealousy, hate, or betrayal, the end result was the same. 8-9 buried another young life. After Charles' death, they began repping 620, the date he was killed. And when KJ was murdered a year later, 8-9 tied both names together. Carrying 620 for Charles and 8-9 for KJ, 2 young lives, 2 death dates, two names that became the foundation of their identity. BNG, Breaking News Gang. A set out of Garden City clicked with PMO, Power Moves Only. For a while they ran with 8-9, but in the streets, alliances don't always mean loyalty. Sometimes they're just setups waiting to happen. July 2021, BNG rapper Daro Baby brought 8-9 member Trey out to a video showing his single Mash to Gash. The video dropped on YouTube that same month, and there's Trey, blue hoodie, clutching an AR pistol, posted up like family. But behind the scenes, Daro Baby already had a different plan. He wasn't just shooting a video, he was staging a back door. When the cameras stopped rolling, Trey slipped into another room with a female. That's when Daro Baby made his move. He grabbed Trey's ARP and walked out. That off-camera moment lit the fuse. One act of betrayal turned old friends into enemies. From that night on, the lines were clear. BNG and PMO against 8-9 and their allies. Trey wasn't about to let it slide. Later that year, he caught Daro Baby's father and opened fire. Bullets tore through him. Daro Baby's father survived the bullets, but Trey had already proven long before then that he was willing to kill. Back in 2019, 3 years earlier, he claimed his first life. It happened right outside a teenager's home in a quiet Houston neighborhood. October 26, 2019. In the Barker Cypress area of Houston, 19-year-old Andreas Patterson walked outside his home for what was supposed to be a meeting. But what came next wasn't just betrayal, it was an ambush, according to his mother.
Some people came to the house and attempted to rob him, and he ran into the garage and they shot him multiple times in his back.
It was 8-9 member Trey who pulled the trigger. The murder was caught on surveillance video. The moment he ran into the garage, the shots followed. Bullets tore through his back, dropping him where he stood. Andreas collapsed inside his own home, just feet away from safety, while his family inside was powerless to stop it. Days later, Trey was arrested for the killing. But despite the murder charge, despite the video evidence, he was released on a $50,000 bond. An ankle monitor strapped to his leg was supposed to keep him in check. It didn't, because even with that monitor on, Trey kept moving, kept plotting, kept pulling triggers. In May 2020, while out on bond, he caught another charge. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He violated curfew. He tampered with his GPS. He ignored court orders. Again and again, the system let him walk free. By February 8, 2022, Trey's name was already stained with blood, and that night he added more. It happened in an apartment complex off Ella Boulevard. Two men had been lured there, thinking they were coming for a meeting, but what they walked into was an ambush. Trey was waiting in a parked car with 3 other men. When the victims arrived, surveillance video caught what happened next. Trey burst out of the driver's seat, assault rifle in hand, sprinting toward them. Over 50 shots tore through the night. One of the targets was hit but survived. But in the chaos, Trey's own crew fell apart. One man in the back seat opened fire as he stepped out, and another, 20-year-old John Kelly, was struck in the back of the head, killed instantly. The ambush backfired. One of their own left dead in the parking lot, while Trey and the others ran. Prosecutors later said Trey was the mastermind of that drill. Even while on bond for a previous murder, he had orchestrated another. By the time the case reached trial, jurors weren't just looking at Patterson's murder in 2019. They were also staring at the 2022 ambush. Surveillance footage of Trey running with an assault rifle still fresh in their minds. The jury didn't hesitate. Trey was convicted of Patterson's murder, and for the trail of violence that followed, he was sentenced to 99 years in prison. He'll have to serve at least 30 years before he can even be considered for parole. For the families of his victims, the sentence was justice delayed. Andreas Patterson's mother said it best. If they had done right the first time, someone else's loved one wouldn't be gone. Now Trey sits behind bars, and this time, there's no bond, no ankle monitor, no second chances, just a cell, and 99 years to remember the bodies he left behind.
See, that's what they doing now. You can talk on the phone behind jail now. That's inside the cell.
2023. The night was supposed to be routine. Just another Uber ride. BNG member TJ sat in the back seat, scrolling his phone, the city lights sliding past the window. What he didn't know was that Jay Chapo from SSC was already hunting. The car slowed. The silence cracked. Gunfire tore through the air. Bullets punched into the Uber, one ripping into TJ's arm. Glass shattered. The driver panicked, slamming the gas, swerving into the night, his passenger bleeding in the back. The driver did what he could, called 911, and rushed TJ to the nearest hospital. But even in safety, the nightmare followed. Police searched TJ as doctors worked on him and found a gun. He left the hospital not as a victim, but as a suspect, loaded into
y'all
a
hit the blood.
patrol car. For Jay Chapo, pulling the trigger was only half the mission. The other half was making sure the world never forgot it. On secret animosity, he rapped, "Caught his ass in traffic. Know we did him nasty. Bet his ass won't ride in a Uber." And on 357, "Caught one on a scooter and one in an Uber. I bet they ass know how to stay in their place." But the silent sack chasers weren't done. In 2024, they came for another BNG name. And this wasn't just anybody. Daru Baby was the one who lit the fuse in the first place, sliming 8-9's Trey and igniting a war that's been burning ever since. That year, SSC member Black tried to finish what Darrell Baby started. He slid on Darrell Baby, catching him in the streets and pulling first. Black had the ups, but Daru Baby was ready. The mission failed, and Black almost lost his life in the process. Daru Baby wasted no time putting it on wax. In his single shoot and drive, he taunted the failed hit. Almost had Black, but he fast than a bitch. We do not tolerate bloopers. How the fuck you trip? June 7th, 2024. The streets took another life. That day, BNG member Baby O was shot and killed under circumstances that still remain unknown. On the picture on screen, Baby O is seen crouching low, throwing up a gang sign. Just behind him stands TJ, his arm in a sling from when he was shot riding in an Uber months earlier. An attack carried out by SSC member Jay Chapo. The streets weren't done with Jay Chapo's name. It came back, louder, bloodier, tied to one of the deadliest nights Houston had seen in years. September 14th, 2024. What started as a block party on Laura Copy Road turned into one of Houston's deadliest mass shootings in years. It was just after 2:30 in the morning when a vehicle pulled up to the crowded gathering. Inside, silent sack chasers, Jay Chapo, Black, and Low. Their target, a BG member named Cameo. They opened fire without mercy, more than 50 rounds ripping through the night, shredding the block party into chaos. By the time first responders arrived, the street was a nightmare. Bodies sprawled across the pavement, neighbors screaming in terror, and paramedics wading through blood as they fought to keep the dying alive. Jarvis Faltry, 24, and Breon Stewart, 23, were pronounced dead at the scene. Marlon Jackson, 24, was rushed to the hospital but didn't make it. 8 more people, men between 22 and 49, and a 43-year-old woman, were ripped open by gunfire. Some were dragged into ambulances, others thrown into private cars, all of them bleeding out, hanging by a thread. Against all odds, they lived. Detectives with HPD's Homicide Division sifted through the evidence. Shell casings, low-quality surveillance footage, and flock camera hits that helped trace the suspect vehicle. Within days, they had names. Jay Chapo, real name Javion Tyrus Knoll, 21. Black, real name Jacqueline Willis, 20. Low, real name Markiello Jamal Reynolds, 20. All members of SSC, all now tied to one of the darkest nights Houston has ever seen. Each one charged with capital murder. Each one facing the weight of 3 lives lost and 8 more nearly taken. But when the warrants came down, investigators made a chilling discovery. All 3 were already in custody. Jay Chapo sat in Harris County Jail on an unrelated case. Black and Low were locked up in Los Angeles, also on separate charges. According to HPD, The trio wasn't just terrorizing Houston. They were leaving trails of violence across the country. As one investigator put it, these individuals were wreaking havoc everywhere they went. And now, they're finally off the streets. A month after the Laura Copy massacre, Houston streets were still bleeding, and the cycle of death wasn't slowing down. October 29th, 2024. Just before noon, outside a Family Dollar on Bingle Road, BNG member Bankroll, only 19 years old, stood in the parking lot near his car. Hungry Money Boys member Tristo, real name Christopher Enrique Torres, 22, walked down, raised his gun, and sent a single bullet crashing into Bankroll's skull. It was an execution in broad daylight. Shoppers scattered. Cameras captured everything. Witnesses said Tristo and a woman had gone into the store with Bankroll earlier. They left, but when they came back, Tristo didn't hesitate. He walked right up, aimed at Bankroll's head, and pulled the trigger. Bankroll crumpled onto the pavement as chaos erupted, screams cutting through the parking lot. Paramedics fought to keep him alive, but the damage was irreversible. Not long after, the 19-year-old was gone. The killer didn't get far. With witnesses providing descriptions and a license plate number, Houston police were able to track the suspect vehicle within minutes. Inside, they found Tristo, the unidentified woman, and the firearm still in the car. He was arrested on the spot, barely 30 minutes after the shooting. At first, prosecutors charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. But when Bankroll's death was confirmed, the charge was upgraded to murder. 3 months after Bankroll was executed outside a Family Dollar, BNG suffered its deadly strike, the face of their set, the voice of their side, Daru Baby. On the night of February 18, 2025, just 3 days after walking out of jail, he walked straight into the shadows of death. A Circle K gas station on West Tidwell Road became his final stage. Daru Baby, real name Darren Liggins, 22, pulled in with his girlfriend and a 5-year-old girl in the back seat. It should have been ordinary, a routine stop, a quick trip inside for change. But the night had other plans. A black car crept into the lot. The passenger door cracked open. Silence shattered. Gunfire erupted, violent and unrelenting. The shots were surgical, aimed at one target, Daru Baby. He fell just feet from the car where his girlfriend and the child sat paralyzed, trapped in terror. The vehicle was shredded with bullets. By sheer luck, neither the woman nor the little girl was struck. But Daru Baby wasn't spared. Blood pooled beneath him, soaking into the concrete. When first responders arrived, there was nothing left to save. Only a body abandoned to the night. The streets felt the weight immediately, and the internet carried it further. A video emerged. Daru Baby sprawled lifeless. Officers surrounding him, red and blue lights flickering over tragedy. For BNG, this wasn't just a loss. It was a public execution. Their leader, their voice, murdered with the city as witness, while his family watched in helpless horror. Months later, investigators revealed the names behind the ambush. Pries Pierre Addison, 20, an associate of the 200 clique, already locked in Harris County Jail on unrelated charges. When his connection to Daru Baby's murder was made public, 200 rapper 13 Shawty World posted a photo with him, a silent oath written in blood. Connor Robinson, 18, Addison's accomplice, a participant in a series of cold, calculated robberies earlier that month. Spill a drink, distract the clerk, pull the gun. Robinson admitted one of the robberies himself, pointing at Addison as the ringleader. Together, they orchestrated a murder in broad daylight, in a city that had already seen too much.
That's what's going on in the H right now with the young niggas, man. That's why I say I don't give a damn about no other town when our town rocking right now. What else going on? Oh, they in Philadelphia shit. They with the Billy shit. Ah, hell nah. I know Billy ain't let them niggas in there, bitch.
If you go to jail, bitch don't hold it down, you a clown, man.
And I catch you in traffic listening to anything other than CEO Gucci, I'm flipping you. Fucking wheel.
Houston has been an important hip hop hub for as long
So
as anyone
man,
wants
that
to.
nigga really got down in there though, cause he fuck. If that nigga there with OG Billy Donkey, man, come on, man, it's going down, man. See, that's what I'm saying. You gotta know to know, man. This my side, this my hood, side of the hood right here, man.
Scarface and the Ghetto Boys emerged in the late 80s and early 90s, bringing a gritty down south perspective that explored darker themes than what a lot of rappers in New York and LA were doing at the time. Then in the early 2000s, artists like UGK, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, and Lil Flip reinvented Houston in the eyes of the masses by putting their scene on full display with a distinct DJ Screw-inspired southern sound and an emphasis on the city's culture of lean and heavily modified automobiles that they call slabs. And in modern times, artists like Meg Thee Stallion, Travis Scott, and Don Toliver have kept H-Town's name ringing amongst the top cities in hip-hop. But there's one word that has dominated street-level hip-hop over the last 15 years that is rarely associated with Houston: drill. We're all adults here, so I don't have to get into how Chief Keef, Lil Reese, Lil Durk, and a host of others reinvented rap music in the early 2010s out of Chicago. All you need to know is that drill quickly spread outside the rack, up in the crime in cities like New York, London, and Philadelphia. But what about Texas? Well, the Lone Star State has been understandably slow to get on board. But that's all starting to change with artists like today's subject taking Houston by storm. Enter CEO Gucci.
Push up on a nigga, start catching the sweets. That mean a day nigga roller. Incognito box on a G26. Nigga ain't even gotta show it.
That's right, CEO Gucci doesn't just rap about the streets, he's all up in the mix. So I figured we might as well just pull up ourselves and check out the vibes.
Oh, bro, man, get out of that.
Damn, this how you doing Canadian shit out here, huh?
They pouring up in the Canadian.
You feel me?
We came to Texas, they got the drink on deck for us.
I ain't in Texas anymore. I thought Pimp C drank the last of the drink and y'all ain't been able to get any sense. That's a rumor, that's what I heard, man.
I gotta admit, this is the first vlog I've ever done where I was greeted with some lean. I only
That's
took a
real
sip, but it was
nigga
pretty
shit,
delicious.
man.
I
That
don't
was
know,
bad.
there's something about being 41.
Only in that
So I
zone,
probably
bitch.
shouldn't start getting loaded at 1 p.m. But you know what they say, when with the do as the YNs do. Completely unrelated, doing these kind of videos is kind of expensive. So if you want to support, please become a member via the top link in the description. For only $5 a month, you get early access to all our interviews and much, much more. Thanks. CEO Gucci is from the Acres Homes neighborhood of Houston. Acres Homes is a nearly 9 square mile community about 10 miles northwest of downtown Houston, and it's a historic, predominantly black neighborhood with deep cultural
Goddamn
roots.
right.
This area has produced quite a few important Texans, namely the aforementioned Slim Thug and Paul Wall, plus Chameleon,
Slim Thug is not from
former
Acres
mayor
Home.
Sylvester Turner, and actress Loretta Devine. But if you ask CEO Gucci, this area has another name: the murder.
This the murder, you feel me? This the punishment, it's the murder right here, you feel me? It's the murder. And this everyday shit, we come to the trenches still every day. It's the north side too, right? Yeah, fact, north side, you feel me? North side. So what's the difference between the north side and all the other sides? Shit, ain't shit like the north side. And we popping over here, niggas get money, niggas player, you feel me? And we ain't playing with niggas, we'll put that out on niggas, you know that?
Hey, we got a lot to worry about. Y'all got ops that might pull up at any given
Niggas
moment.
not to ever come through here. Niggas can't even come through these gates. You see the gates you came through? Niggas never get the chance to come through these gates.
You feel like the older generation of Houston taps in and fucks with the younger
This
up-and-coming
nigga in
generation,
the
or is it not
790, I cannot believe
Not all of them,
it.
like, I ain't gonna lie. It really be, Houston, they be on some hate shit for real, like. But it's some I can name that show love for sure, but not all of them. You know, I don't even fuck with everybody, but
How'd you actually start rapping? What made you want to do this?
shit, my pops really.
CEO Gucci's dad is a rapper named DQ. In the early 2000s, he was part of a group called AAA Mobsters, who were very much in the vein of a lot of other
AAA.
Houston-based music that was popping off around this time. This era of
I
hip-hop has
remember
been kind of
AAA,
poorly preserved on
but I don't
YouTube, but
remember
behind-the-scenes vlog footage shows
Oh,
Gucci's dad and his
yeah,
friends
they in
doing
North
pretty much
Plaza. Yeah,
exactly what Gucci
yeah, I
was
remember
doing in
these
the vlog, namely posting up in Acres Homes with a bunch of artillery and some muddy-ass 2-liters. Some things never change. I actually got Gucci's dad on the phone just to see what he thought about his son's music career taking off.
I was talking to Gucci about his music and everything.
Daddy got him 18-wheelers to make it out the streets, right?
Can you just like maybe talk to me about like you introducing him to hip hop and what his interest was in it early on?
I knew he was gonna do that because I know he wasn't gonna play sports.
But I already knew he was gonna do it because I used to drag him everywhere with me. You know what I mean? I'd be like, man, show me something, let me hear something. But they were just scared, nervous because it was me. It's fine.
Did you ever like teach him how to rap, or did he figure it out on his own?
He never quite let me hear it, but I knew he was doing it. And I started hearing some of his music on some of the computers. And he never knew I was on the computer and I would listen because he used to always take his sister's computer and be doing stuff in the computer. I knew he was going to be doing it, and he started doing it. So, I started like, man, I'm just letting him do his thing, though, because I know we was in different eras, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm Spaz Out gang, you feel me? My Spaz Out members locked up, they know who that is. You feel me? Free Chapo, free Black, free Low, man. I'm Spaz Out gang, they know that. 723 shit, long live Spaz, man.
When Gucci says he's Spaz Out gang, he's talking about his cousin Spaz, who was killed back in July of 2022 during what some YouTubers say was a gun trade gone wrong. A suspect was arrested and is currently incarcerated for Spaz's murder, and if said YouTubers are to be believed, this was the beginning of an ongoing war between Gucci's hood and another neighborhood.
So one thing I noticed is that compared to New York or LA,
It's really not another neighborhood. It's all the same hood.
Like the cops can pull up
So-
right now and they can't say shit about the
So these apartments they in, these tore down, but they rebuilt them. These are the legendary 790 apartments, man. If you know, you know. This is where PJ the Rap Hustler, the Bandits, all them rappers, like in his daddy's era, that's what I'm saying. These was the rappers then. PJ the Rap Hustler would switch out, but he really from Garden City, where J-Dog from. Oh, shit.
CEO Gucci's dad is a rapper named
Gucci about his music and everything, and one thing that he said was just that like you were a huge influence
yeah, I hit
on
the
him.
blunt.
Can you just like maybe talk to me about like you introducing him to hip hop and what his interest was in it early on?
I knew he was gonna do that because I know he wasn't gonna play sports. But I already.
All right, that's enough. Y'all hogging.
Drag him everywhere with me. You know what I mean? I'd be like, man, show me something, let me hear something. But they were just scared, nervous because it was me. It's fine.
Did you ever like teach him how to rap, or did he figure it out on his own?
He never quite let me hear it, but I knew he was doing it. And I started hearing some of his music on some of the.
I don't remember Triple A, but I don't remember his old man.
I would listen because he used to always take his sister's computer and be doing stuff in the computer. I knew he was going to be doing it, and he started doing it. So, I started like, man, I'm just letting him do his thing, though, because I know we was in different eras, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm Spaz Out gang, you feel me? My Spaz Out members locked up, they know who that is. You feel me? Free Chapo, free Black, free Low, man. I'm Spaz Out gang, they know that. 723 shit, long live Spaz, man.
When Gucci says he's Spaz Out gang, he's talking about his cousin Spaz, who was killed back in July of 2022 during what some YouTubers say was a gun trade gone wrong. A suspect was arrested and is currently incarcerated for Spaz's murder, and if said YouTubers are to be believed, this was the beginning of an ongoing war between Gucci's hood and another neighborhood.
So one thing I noticed is that compared to New York or LA, you guys really got pipes out here. Like no big deal. Like the cops can pull up right now and they can't say shit about the
They do this bitch.
It is regular for people can have their guns, like, it's regular out here, like, anybody can have their gun. They don't have faces and shit like that. They is gonna try to find a reason why you shouldn't have this on.
Bro, come on, just to fuck with it, like.
In the Brownsville video that we posted a few weeks ago, I mentioned that we go out of our way to not show any guns while filming in urban environments. Well, that might make sense in New York or LA where the gun laws are comparatively tight, but out here in Texas, it's a whole different world, and pretty much everyone here today was sticked up. And apparently a regular old handgun isn't enough to get the job done out here either, since almost every gun I saw during this trip either had an extended clip or a big-ass drum hanging off the end of it. As far as gun laws go, anyone over the age of 21 can carry a handgun in Texas, either out in the open or concealed, and you don't need a license to do so. But according to these guys, if the cops see you with your gun out, they're liable to hassle you and try to find a reason why you shouldn't have it. But that potential inconvenience definitely
That shit not like nothing really just That shit played out for real. Like, nobody give a fuck about gang banging. Bro, niggas with they niggas, they want niggas thugging. Like,
Houston has Bloods and Crips just like LA and New York, but according to CEO Gucci and his team,
I
they're not
told y'all we
terribly
don't
concerned
give
with
a
who's
fuck
gang
about
color
that shit
and
no
more
more.
concerned with who you
Niggas
actually
clicked
spend
up,
time
man.
with in the streets. This crew who welcomed us to Acres Homes today consisted mostly of Bloods, but for what it's worth, CEO Gucci isn't a Crip or a Blood. He told me he reps K4K and ABK, which stands for Anybody Killer, which might sound kind of similar to the EBK movement that is prevalent in both Chicago and Stockton, California, but if you think about it, being ABK infers that you are just open to the possibility of murking anyone, which is at least a little bit more optimistic than being EBK, which, if taken literally, would require that you kill everybody, which honestly is just a bit much.
This is super awkward, but I just got a text from Dr. Umar, and he told me I gotta do a citizen's arrest because you are guilty of bully hopping, my friend.
I'm a real Muslim. I'm a real Muslim, man. I don't discriminate against none of that, man. I fornicate with the white women.
Hey, real one. Hey, tell me what possessed you kind of thing on your wheels here. This looks dangerous as hell.
The first nigga to ride on wheels, nigga Lil Hun. I'm Lil Hun.
Nigga was raised like this. Like, this shit really, like, naturally in the gut. This shit going on.
Does this count as a slab? I heard about pulling up in slabs.
He ain't completed though. I just got it. Just started.
So a lot has changed in Texas, but at the same time, y'all still appreciate the drink. Y'all still very into doing exotic modifications on your cars. A lot of shit hasn't changed, even though a lot of shit has. The business has changed a lot. But in terms of what y'all appreciate, there's still a lot of consistency with the older days, right?
Shit, bro, we grew up in this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was little as hell, see me go down there a baby. Like, I've been around this shit. My brother daddy, like, he raised me, so he was always on this. He was the first one to pull out slabs, like Houston culture, period. So I always had love for that shit. I'm from Houston. This is my shit. It's my city.
Next, we sped off from the cul-de-sac and stopped by another street that these guys hold in high regard.
So what was going on here back in the day?
Oh, this the back street. Shout out to Glenn, baby. Back street, baby. R.I.P. Blood Mater, man. R.I.P. Lil Mater, man.
One time you couldn't even come from a.
R.I.P. Bando.
You could not come over here. On my hood.
After that, we headed off to Mary's convenience store. Remo went in to buy a drink and overheard the woman working the cash register saying that she was mad as hell that No Jumper was in the area and how she didn't want to see her son get locked up. Can't promise anything, but we'll do our best to keep your kids out of trouble, lady. Anyway, we weren't here to shop. The guys were actually pretty excited to show us the gambling spot next door. At first, I was confused because we went to a couple of hole-in-the-wall dice spots like this during our time in Texas, and it definitely seemed like it would be against the law. But I did a little research, and apparently these kind of spots are legal as long as they aren't accessible to the general public and as long as the owner doesn't charge rake like traditional casinos.
All right, we just pulled up by Mary's, the convenience store.
Boy, going down in Texas, man. You go down, baby. I gotta come to Texas, man.
Air conditioning
Hey, man.
conditions. What is this spot? Where are we at right now?
This bro, that in that spot. Thanks, ain't a lot of bitches chill. Like when we come through thugs, have a good time, chill. Female ladies come through vibe, you feel me? And we just come through this bitch, chill, and gambling in here.
So you can just play dominoes, shoot dice, you can do all that kind of shit here? Let's go check it out. We got a game.
Get dice right here.
These ain't fixed or nothing?
No, I'm not good at we'll shoot 20, bet 20 right now when we got a lot of people in here.
What's the most money you ever seen anybody lose here?
A nigga lost 20,000.
20,000. Playing dice. Yeah, I might have to draw.
No, for real. I done seen niggas lose 20,000 and the Cadillac like 40,000 at the time.
Primarily because of a local delicacy called boudin.
And that was at
spicy
what you call it,
sausage that is mixed with rice and seafood.
Shout out to Frank Gully, man.
Popular down south, and some people even claim that it is a way of life, which seems extreme to me, but what do I know?
I'm not gonna lie, the idea.
Shout out to Frank Gully, boy. You know Monkey Man, no boy. Shout out to Frank Gully,
I've been in
boy.
LA too long. I'm not used to eating like the common folk, you know? In the meat.
On the meat, like a nacho, like a nacho.
Oh, I didn't know it was gonna be soft like this. Wow. I'm not complaining, man. That is good. I never thought I'd be using a spoon.
With good, some good weed and a boudin and some Doritos. Come on, man. That's a good legacy, man, in Houston, man. Boudin and chips.
Can't go wrong with boudin. You feel me? Everything you see in this bitch, you feel me? We come at 2 for 1. You feel me? It's everything in the trenches. You come to the hood store, you gonna get right, man. You down to your last, nigga, come to the trenches and get fed. You know, and you know we got the bell. It's only right, though. It's only right, bro. These niggas never touched down with Buddha with Adam, bro.
I'm
Feed your buddies. You can't break bread. His ass fake as fuck.
finna pull up in one of them right now. As soon as my girl gets back.
This is a balanced meal right here.
Probably a read, though. I'll probably give me a big read. But I'm gonna join me some green. I ain't fucking with that purple. That purple that be itching too bad.
Absolutely insane amount of sugar to eat. Honestly, you'd be way better off eating fast food from McDonald's or something. I realize it's not always convenient to eat healthy.
Hey,
I don't
God,
want
boy,
to
that brown, boy, I got some Mr. Brown.
That's
That's it, some fire, boy. I'm having
Nobody wants that.
We got the exotic
I'm
pop.
gonna start smoking that shit. That shit
This
yeah,
is
me
the exotic
high.
pop right here. You ever had a Bud Ice?
Hell,
This shit'll knock you out
boy,
of
you
the
drink a
seat.
Bud Ice, you
As long
finna
as
be
you take
fucked
off, man,
up
we
and
got all
smoking
those
dope.
good stacks in here. Listen, in
Hey.
LA, not so much. I never munched on Lil Baby for lunch back in LA, but out here, you might have to munch on the homie. These are the honey buns that Wack was.
Hey, man. If that nigga drank that Bud Ice and make us home, he gonna smoke crack and ain't gonna leave.
I mean about the big bag honey buns. I feel like they got sick of paying a royalty to the rappers, so they said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna go big back with it."
Damn, I ain't know there ain't no
Really a
rap
sun
snack
chip
honey
guy, but I
bun.
notice a lot of times they ain't got the sun chips. Yeah.
That's the white people shit.
Okay.
You gotta get you nacho cheese, really, and put it on.
Okay. No, I don't eat pork beyond like I ain't ate 800 bags of these in my life, man.
Hey,
Come
man,
on.
I don't do a lot. We don't eat pork, but Adam do.
My little homie Muslim buddy finna pork a thought.
Nah, for sure.
I swear, I don't know what fucking store they in.
Man, hey, man, the hood, we super moving and grooving, man. That's what's going on.
Okay. You bought up all the red ones.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Nah, I ain't buying by the river. The hood bought up by the river. Yes, man.
Ah. Oh.
Yeah, I pull up in that bitch, I be pulling up in that bitch, that cream, a bad motherfucker, boy.
I want that drink. I'm telling you, man. We got it all for you.
How am I gonna avoid getting K-road if I come out here and want to
Bro,
have some
some
work?
work shop with us, bro. Us. We
I done bought drink
we don't
from them
approve
niggas.
of that shit.
Got it.
You don't approve of it, you don't move with it.
Noted.
Now that we're
Free
at
KJ,
Fort
man. Free little
Lauderdale,
KJ,
to
man.
Another neighborhood where Gucci feels at home. He said